All right. So what I noticed is that most of you guys are confused. Okay, when it comes to seeing imbalances in several places. Okay, so I just noticed that in some of you guys' work. Okay, so I just decided to address that instead of moving on to the other part of our course outline. I would have loved to talk more today, but you can see my battery right here quite low. I don't usually allow it to go below 20. So yeah, um, that aside, uh, what I wanted to show you guys today is imbalances and how to navigate when you have several imbalances. Okay, so now when you guys usually send me your analysis, okay, when you guys usually send me your analysis, if you have price moving like this, so let's say we're in a downtrend, so we form this range, pull back, and then we had this imbalance in here. So price formed an imbalance inside there, okay, and kept on moving, took out the low, and then form another imbalance, okay, form another imbalance and kept pushing lower, right? So now, what most of you do is that you mark out this imbalance, okay, you mark out this imbalance, and you mark out this imbalance as well. All right. Now, this is not the right way to do it. All right. So now, yes, all this imbalance, all the imbalances are useful, right? But they are not useful at the same time. Okay. So now, the the most useful imbalance is the most recent one. All right. So which one are we dealing in right now? Which range are we in? That is the imbalance that is useful. So in this case now, this last imbalance here is what we are dealing with. All right. So this last imbalance is what we are dealing with. So this imbalance is the only one that you're concerned with. Why? Because this range is this place right here. We can assume that this imbalance is covered because it's inside this range area here. All right. So and besides, it's quite far. And what we're dealing with when we're trading is what is recent in price. So now, when you are looking at a pullback, you should only expect price to pull back in here before we continue the move. So this is our expectation if we have a structure like this with different imbalances here. Okay. So now the only time that or the time that the other imbalances will become useful, all right, become useful is when we have a BMS to the upside. So when we break into the imbalance area, okay, so now we've broken into the imbalance area and we have a pullback. So now in this case, these imbalances will become useful, will become salient. Okay, salient means important. All right, so this imbalance will become important when price has gone into their area. So we have a BMS here. That means price has started a deep correction. So that's when these imbalances will be useful. All right. So now price may correct in here or in here before continuing the move. But what price in this kind of situation right now, you can see that price has taken out a major liquidity. Okay, we regard this one as a major liquidity in this trend. All right. So now, if you think back to the little video I did the other time about inducement, the video I did about inducement, right? That I said there is primary inducement, secondary inducement, and on on what do I call it? Is it undefined swings, something like that? All right. So this actually looks like undefined swings. So this place did not mitigate the old one. This place did not mitigate the old one. This one not mitigates the old one. So we respect primary inducements. Okay. So respect primary inducement in this kind of case. So now, if we have several imbalances like this, okay, and price moves into this area, so it breaks market structure to the upside like this. So it has entered into this imbalance area right now. So I now expect this imbalance might work out. Okay, but in this case, since we have unsupported swings in this area, I would expect price to go all the way to primary inducement. So I would expect something like this to happen. So price will climb, 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 climb till we get up here and closing all the imbalances, all of them. All right, all of them before we now continue to the downside. Okay, so that will be my expectation in this kind of situation. Okay, so now let me give you something to note now. So you only focus on the imbalance that is the most recent one. So don't focus on the old ones. Only focus on the old ones when you have a um a break of structure to the upside. So you have a major liquidity taken, or put it in another way, only when the price has pushed into the area of that imbalance. So that's when that imbalance will now become important to us. All right. That's when the imbalance will become important to us. All right. So otherwise, it is not really important. It is not really important to us at all. All right. So that let me give us another case. Let me give us another case. All right. Let me give us another case. So what if we have something like this? All right. We have price makes a range here. Okay. Forms an imbalance. Makes another one. All right. This another imbalance here. Okay. So now price is pulling back here. All right. So now our imbalances are number one, this area, fair value gap. All right. This area. Sorry, that's an error. This area here. Okay. This area is another area to look at. Okay. So that's the second area. Okay. So now when price is pulling back like this, you should expect this place to be the sell. Expect this place to be the sell. Expect that place to be the sell. All right. Sorry, I got to change the color of the zone. Okay, so expect this place to be the sell. Not Don't expect price to go back into all this imbalance. The only time you expect price to go back into to fill the imbalance is when price has pushed its way back into one of the imbalances. All right. So if price should push its way back into the imbalance, I will now realize that, oh, we are now in a correction. We are now in a corrective move. So I would now look for a pullback. All right. So I might now start buying. That is if I feel like buying. All right. So you might just wait for the trend to continue, or you can start buying. Number one, maybe this first imbalance will be your first target. All right. Then second imbalance can be your next target. All right. So after the second imbalance is filled, we would expect price to continue lower. All right. So now the takeaway from this is that all the previous imbalances left when the price is rushing down in a trend. All the previous imbalances left are not useful until price makes takes out major liquidity, that is pushes its way back into one of the old imbalances. So when price goes back into the area of one of the previous imbalances, that's when we'll now start considering all the older ones. That's when we'll start considering them. But as long as price has not pushed into that area, we would not consider it, right? We would not consider it. We'll keep looking to sell, sorry, or to continue the trend because it might not be a sell trend. So that's basically it. Do we have questions concerning this topic?
Yeah, so yeah, good
Mm,
evening.
yeah.
Please, like I'm still not clear with leaving the first imbalance and like or leaving the imbalance like the one that is still up and focusing on the one that is near to the like trend, like when trend is changing.
Yeah.
Is it that there are some imbalance that are valid and some that are not valid?
Yes. the ones that are valid, okay, are the ones
Yeah.
at that are the most recent ones, okay, the most recent ones and the oldest one. Okay, so once the most recent one gets violated, that is, it takes out the sponsor candle or the high that forms the most recent imbalance, we would now expect a deep correction back to the first imbalance. Let me see if I can find example
Okay.
in the chat. Let me see if I can find an example in the chat. Okay. Let me just take this as a rough example. It's not really a concrete example, but it will serve our purpose. All right. So um okay, this is not actually an imbalance. Let me see if I can find something else. All right. So what I'm trying to say now is that if you have several imbalance, and if you are not muted, mute yourself, Wally.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So now look at this move. Look at this downward move here. Look at this downward move. All right. So it has an imbalance here. Okay. Has another imbalance here. Has another imbalance down here. All right. So um if this most recent imbalance right now, if this most recent imbalance is still here, I would expect to sell within this area. All right. I expect to sell within that area. All right. Let me depict something. This is not very clear, sha, but I'm not even sure about this area. But I think if I go on a higher time frame, this is a 1 minute chart. If I go on a 5 minute chart, that area is probably, let me even check. Let me check on the 5 minute chart because this chart is looking somehow. All right, so that is a mitigation block area right there. Okay, so right here is a mitigation block area or a breaker block, whatever. So going out to the 1 minute chart now. So now where this move started is this area. So it started going down, left an imbalance here. Okay, came up, did not totally close the imbalance, continue going down, formed another imbalance here. Okay, so when this imbalance is formed here, this imbalance right in here, when this particular imbalance is formed, you will not expect price to trade above it and go up into this imbalance. Okay, you will keep selling as the new imbalances, you keep selling at the new imbalances. All right, so even though we have an imbalance here, all right, we will not expect price to immediately go back there. All right, so I would sell here first. All right, I will sell here. Okay, so I won't expect price to close this imbalance. I also go back to close this imbalance as well. All right, also I will sell in this area because we have this imbalance here. I will sell, let me refine it. I will sell in this area, okay, because there's a tiny imbalance right there. Let me zoom in. So I don't know if you can see this tiny, this long candle that is here. So there's an imbalance right there as well. Okay, so I also sell at that point. So now once price now breaks market structure to the upside, once price now breaks market structure to the upside, I would now be looking for a trade back to closing this initial imbalance up here. All right, so I'm looking for a trade to go back to closing this initial imbalance up here. All right, so draw that out. This didn't even close itself, but as I said before, this is not a perfect example, but this is just to depict what I'm trying to say. All right, so if you have older imbalances that have been left before, all right, that have been left before, you ignore them for the meantime, especially if there is a previous range area beside it, like this place now. There's a downward move, then upward move, then downward move, upward move, something like that. But let me not confuse you, Sha. But just ignore imbalances that are higher up and focus on the ones that are lower. Once the first one that is lower gets violated, you know that the trend has changed for the meantime, and you might see price most likely go back into the first imbalance to close it in before you continue the move lower. All right. So once an imbalance has been left out, it might never come back there till it gets to its target. Okay. So if it starts violating imbalances, so that means the trend is changing for the meantime, and you may have to either join the new trend or just wait for the old trend to resume. Okay. So that's the little point I'm trying to pass across today. That's just the little point I'm trying to pass across today. I probably find, I don't know, I might probably find another, a very very clean example to show you guys tomorrow or later on this week. Let me just check if I can teach something quickly, even though I like to end the meeting now. Um, let me see. Different approaches to growing accounts is our next trade. Our next, okay, so that means that I'll end the class here. Do you have any question? Anybody have any question? Anybody has any other question? And Wale, did this example help you, or it confused you the more?
Yeah, it do convince me, but I will check out the recording video. So I always
Okay, okay.
it does. But I'll
It's
check
still
out the
confusing.
recording video.
Don't worry, don't worry. I'm just rushing today's session, Sha. I wanted to actually record a video
Okay.
earlier than this and release to you guys, but I didn't really have time. But anyhow, Sha, I would probably record the video later and show you guys the example I'm going to give you so that you guys will get it clearly. This thing is not really what I'm looking for, not really the scenario I'm looking for to explain it deeply. All right, but I would find a video like that and just send it to you guys on the group chat. Does anybody have any other question before we go? Okay, with that, I wish you a good night's rest. See you guys tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.